This is Barbara. I feel like I'm too far away. And it's Saturday, January 9th. Cheers. It's a bright, sunny day out. I thought I heard rain last night, but I think I was dreaming, which is good because I didn't have a ton of sleep last night, so I obviously was doing some sleeping. The girls will be in and out. So I did not wash and block my sweater, so I was trying to think. I was gonna do it today, and then I still didn't bring it down when I came down after taking Dennis's tea, so I think I'm just gonna wear it the way it was, and we'll see what happens with washing and blocking, and that'll be the topic for another day. But it looked good enough, I think, to wear on the podcast. Which I will be doing today or tomorrow, and I'm not sure. Oh, I didn't bring my embroidery. I did practice the stem stitch yesterday for my embroidery library. My wool feels very much better than the silk. The silk is so tiny. So maybe I should experiment. And I was doing it doubled. I should experiment if it's possible for me to do it like quadrupled. I did try that with the satin stitch when I first did my first book, but my first attempt at everything, and didn't work out. So I might try, see if 4 is too many or unruly or whatever. But the stem stitch was fun. I watched 2 videos. I watch my videos on my television, and it's hard to go to like the down bar when you watch your videos on the television. So I didn't actually I didn't follow any link that Kristi had put in her video. Today I might watch videos on my laptop, and then I can go from the down bar from Kristi. Because when I watched 2 different stem stitch videos, and they weren't exactly the same in terms of how they did the stem stitch. And I suppose there are lots of ways to do every stitch, but so I kind of did both. And the other thing is I ended up doing it sewing style, the way I do my cross stitch, because my guess was correct in that embroidery hoop did not hold it super tight, and I can't adjust it, which means it was loose enough that I could do it sewing style, which it would be my natural inclination. I don't do the poke and come up and poke style with my cross stitch either. I don't use a Q-snap or anything like that, so maybe I should just take my embroidery hoop that I have on my actual library off my library while I practice and use that till I go to the store. Or maybe I should just go to the store. Go to Michael's and pick up an embroidery hoop. And someone suggested gold thread, metallic gold thread as an exit from my books, which was like great. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. Oh, no earrings. Which was a great idea. And maybe I'll pick up silver too, because I have books that silver will go really well with. But you know, books have all kinds of books have gold on them and stuff. Mary Beth looked so festive in her cross stitch when she showed it the other day that I'm even more excited about embellishing my books a little bit. So, but Probably should be using a better embroidery hoop. So I did that a little while yesterday, and we walked the dogs and we talked a lot. I'm coming to the conclusion that I might need to go into another news hiatus. I'm wearing my Material Girl to cheer me up. Sorry, Maisie just took something out in the yard. Tell him what you had. Where's your face? Give me your face, you goofball. There's your face. Yeah, you had a treasure, didn't you? Yeah. I should have put the treats away. Now they're scouting around it. If I go chase her after something, she'll grab it and run. So now I have to bring them treats, and then make them come. And they'll come if there's a treat. Turns out it was just the other half of the silver foil cream cheese wrapper that Pearl had the other day. Apparently when I took it away from Pearl, I only took half of it. You can never be too careful. And, you know, she took it out like it was a secret special prize. Hold on, let me put away the treats. Pearl's just vulturing the island, walking around it, sitting there waiting. I'm like, no, you got your treat. I made them sit. Anyway, I think I'll use my laptop so that I can go to the links that Kristi suggested to learn a couple more stitches, because I'm going to have 7 or 8 books. 8 books, because I didn't do last Sunday's book. We just talked and I worked on my sweater. Hardly did anything but work on that sweater. So I want a few different stitches. I have a couple of books that are going to be the same color in those 8 days because of the temperatures. So no. I thought I could show you them rustling, but I can't. This tripod is heavy. Anyway, so I will be working on that a little bit. I was listening to books and chilling for a while yesterday. And I don't know what got into me, but I got the urge. Well, I cleared the table a little bit of some of the things that needed to go upstairs, mostly things that I needed for my podcast, which were my finished objects and, you know, and my yarn from my knit crate, which I was going to show. And then I got this urge. I've been wanting to do something in linen stitch. So I got this urge to make a linen stitch cowl out of the yarn from Knit Crate, because there are 2 skeins of DK. Okay, that's very, I got 2 ends coming out the top. Oh, this one's skein had 2 cuts in it. One was very close to the end, and it didn't have knots. It actually came apart, which was interesting and okay with me. It's gonna be like that. So anyway, this is the yarn. It's sparkly. Can't really see the sparkle that well, but a sparkly lavender. It's showing a slightly more pink on camera than it is looking in my hand. Anyway, I thought, oh, and so I schemed it up, and I got a free pattern on Ravelry when I put in linen stitch. I printed it out And I started reading and I realized that it didn't sound like linen stitch. And they called it honeycomb stitch. So, they weren't trying to say it was linen stitch. I don't know why it came up on my linen stitch search. But I decided I wanted to do linen stitch. But I used their cast on a number, which was 220 for a long thing. And then I just went and looked up linen stitch. And so they had this stockinette border, which I had already put on, and I kept it, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. But it's a little bit of linen stitch, and I'm frankly not sure how I feel about this, my project, and it may end up yeah, there's my notes. That was when it was back and forth, and then I had to go find a different video to how do you do linen stitch in the round. Turns out it's exactly the same stitches that I'm doing on my Francis wrap. Only on my Francis wrap, it turned, because of the way it's set up, the Francis wrap turns into double knitting, and this turns into linen stitch. It's kind of interesting. And I guess that's because of the tubular cast on. It's the tubular cast on that decides whether or not you're doing double knitting or linen stitch. It just occurred to me. So like I said, I'm not as enthusiastic as I would want to be about this, and especially since I realized I'm doing exactly the same thing as my Norma. But I do like the look of it, and I think my thing is that I'm not enthusiastic about it as a cowl. I don't know why. And I might keep working on it for a little while till I decide why. Maybe I don't want, it's gonna be all one color and plain, but you do a stitch like this, you want to see it. So there's no point in doing a linen stitch on a highly variegated fabric. I don't think. Is there? Well, maybe I should swatch. Because I do want to do a sweater out of my yarn that I dyed, that I made Rich's bits out of. My first attempt at dyeing for Kristi's sweater. I want to make a sweater out of that. Well, I should swatch a little linen stitch and see what it looks like in that yarn. I don't think it's gonna be the prominent feature, the stitch, but it might be cool. Anyway, so I've been thinking, well, maybe I just really want to do a linen stitch sweater instead of a cowl. And that's a lot of knit and purls. Slip purlwise, knit one, slip purlwise, because that's exactly the rhythm of the norm on my Francis wrap. So anyway, I have some thinking to do. I get this way sometimes after I finish a very intensive project, and that sweater was very intensive to me for the week. I just highly focused on it, and I loved doing every stitch of it, and now I'm like, do I want to do that? So I think that's what's going on here. So I might just and maybe I should just cross stitch. Maybe this is time to turn to cross stitch instead of trying to find another knitting project. And certainly the thing is, if I'm gonna knit, slip one purlwise and knit, then I should just work on my Francis wrap, right? But I do love the look of this. So I do have it in my mind, my next sweater I might be adding linen stitch to my next sweater. Would they use more yarn? I don't think it would use more yarn, but it probably makes it less stretchy, I guess. That's slipping. But I do like me a mosaic and a slip stitch. I really do. So, you know. Anyway, so I guess I'm not sure what I'm going to do next with my knitting, even though I have whips. I have plenty of whips I could pick up. If I picked up and knit all my whips, it would probably take me 6 months. And I don't want to do that. I was thinking, oh, I should make myself a challenge. No, because I don't want to do that, or I would have been knitting on them, right? Life is challenging enough at the moment. So, I started to say that I was thinking about going on a news moratorium because, you know, sometimes the news just gets to me. And I went on a more than 2 year hiatus from the news back. I started early in the primary season of 2016. I found I just couldn't listen to the talking heads, to the candidates. I just couldn't in 2016. And so I stopped watching the news. We don't get a newspaper. We get most of our news, you know, basically from the internet. And I don't really watch much sort of mainstream media television. I watch Netflix, I watch things on YouTube, you know, that kind of thing. So I'm not, although YouTube has having more and more commercials now. You know, at that time I wasn't bombarded with so many commercials, so I didn't have to hear the commercials. And I avoided the news shows. I was much happier. I was so much happier. My happiness level skyrocketed from before my moratorium to after. And, but I still found out what was going on, but it was filtered through Dennis. Dennis watches the news. He, you know, looks up news. He follows the links. You know, he's an information junkie kind of guy. So it's not like I don't know what's going on. It's just filtered through Dennis, who I trust to filter my news. And everybody's news is filtered. You know, you're getting it filtered through, you know, the talking heads on Fox or on MSNBC or, you know, PBS or whatever. It's all being filtered. So having it filtered by someone I trust isn't bad. So, and I got in the habit of just, you know, at some point during the day saying to Dennis, hey, anything going on? And he would say yes or no, or just this, you know, same old, same old. And so I didn't have to be bombarded with it. Now I got interested in, I found this show on YouTube, on the Hill channel that I really like, called Rising. Both of the hosts are populists. One is a very left-wing populist. The other is a right-wing populist. So they don't always agree about everything, but they're nice to each other and they get along. And they, you know, they give both points of view in a way that makes you see that there are actually two points of view, whether or not you agree with everything the other person says or not, you know, as a way to have a conversation. They can have a discussion about something that seems like in the mainstream media, you're just being, you know, bombarded with the other people with the other opinion are evil, horrible people, and you should avoid them at all costs. So, which is not which I don't like and I can't live with because, you know, I live in the real world where I have people I love who are extremely right-wing, and I have people I love who are left-wing, not as left as me, but left-wing. And, you know, And they're lovely, wonderful people who I love. So I can't just say those other people, whichever side you're on, are horrible people. So anyway, I like this show because they present, you know, the left's version or opinion on a topic and the right's opinion on a topic from a populist point of view, which I am also. You know, so it's not like I'm, you know, not hearing things that I don't already believe in. I'm just hearing different points of view about them and whether I agree or not. Anyway, my point is, I've started watching that show, and I watched it all for the election. And, you know, but the news has not been good. And you know, I've talked before about maybe I need to stop watching the news because I'm not, you know, I'm feeling blah. Well, and that's why I said to Dennis, you know, I think I might need another news moratorium. The problem is that the news in 2016, while important, was not personally impactful. You know, I had to make a decision who to vote for, and I had to vote. And, you know, occasionally I had to, you know, say to Dennis, yes, okay, you can donate money to that candidate or whatever. But that's all that involved me in that. But, you know, what's going on in the world today is the pandemic, which is, you know, personal to me right here in my house, and I have to know what's going on and be careful about it. So the news is a little more relevant and personal now than it was then, so I need to be more informed, but Dennis will inform me. And anyway, so I'm thinking about a news moratorium. Well, I'm having a news moratorium on the weekend anyway, because my show isn't even on the weekend, so. Anyway, so that's what I've been thinking, because, you know, the news is not good. The news is not good. And if I can't do anything about it, and that's the difference, because the pandemic, I have to do things to keep myself safe and to encourage my loved ones to stay safe. But I don't need to be inundated with the news to do that, frankly. I just have to keep informed, which Dennis will do. So I'm thinking about that. And I'm thinking maybe it will help. But I wore my Material Girl today to cheer me up. And I was coming down the steps with this sweater on thinking, you know what? I don't have enough pink and bright red and in my wardrobe. And I do have yarns, bright yarns, in my stash. So it may be another reason why I'm second guessing myself on this, because maybe what I need is to go through my stash and find some brighter colors. Now, this is a little open on the neck, and I thought I would be chilly, but it's bright and sunny today, and it doesn't feel chilly in here. But I grabbed my Twinsie shawl, which is also bright and beautiful. I don't remember the yarn on this, although I might have it on my in Ravelry, because the yarn is so beautiful. And the Twinsie is a one skein shawl, and the Twinsie is by Andrea Choate, the cat lady, C-A-T-T. So I brought that down with it, and I thought it went pretty well, and well, it's also cheerful. But I might seriously consider going upstairs and finding myself some pinks or pinks and reds and bright, bright colors, so that I can have another. I mean, this is the brightest thing in my wardrobe. I have, you know, light colored sweaters that are kind of neutrally, but I don't have red. This is my only pink. And I think I have some combination of yarns upstairs that could make me a sweater that made me very happy. And I loved making a sweater to make me happy because my last sweater was bright, but there wasn't a lot of red in it. And it made me happy. But I wore lipstick today because it's nowhere in the room. Anyway, so I'm thinking about a red sweater rather than this linen stitch cowl, because the linen stitch cowl is just not bringing me the joy. I'm thinking if I'm going to wear, you know, do a cowl or a wrap, I should just work on my Francis wrap. It just could be my mood too. Maybe 2 days of no news and I'll want to finish that. So I'm not going to tear that out, although I might move it because I love the bag I have it in, and I might use that for my sweater. This is the bearded pearl. It's just so elegant and gorgeous, isn't it? It's just elegant. It's just elegant. It's not flashy or fancy, and it's nice and big. It's kind of pretty stiff. And it is elegant. Elegant sounds good. So I might put it in a different bag. So my new pink or red or whatever sweater can go in that bag. Oh, I took a picture of Dennis's cutting board, which I will put right here. It is so beautiful. I'm so excited about it. I think it needs to be, needs one more sanding and waxing, and it'll be in the kitchen for me to use with my limes and lemons for my drinks. I otherwise don't really need a cutting board very often. Well, truth be told. And it will be gorgeous under cheese. So, and I eat cheese. So I wanted to update you on that. So I'm not sure what I'm doing today. I don't know what I'm doing today. I will let you know tomorrow what I decided to do, which could very well be not much. And that's okay too. But it's a bright, beautiful, sunny day. I'll definitely be going for a walk. And we'll see what else. I hope you are all doing well. I will let you go. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Thank you so much for being with me. Please, please, please stay safe.